world is random at even more basic level, like in computer science, engineering. Randomness is an important resource in the design of algorithm. In many situations, randomized algorithm may provide the best known method to solve the hard problem. So they are the application in biology, chemistry, and electrical engineering also, and then finance, sociology, and there's statistics, and in pure mathematics also. So today we learn what is this deterministic or random system. So here, let us first consider the, like, suppose I throw a ball many times exactly at the same angle and speed and under the exactly the same condition. Every time we run this experiment, the ball will land in exactly the same place, so we can predict exactly what is going to happen. So this kind of model is known as deterministic systems or deterministic modeling also. And then the random systems, like randomness is the opposite to deterministic systems. A random phenomena is one that can yield different outcomes in repeated experiment, even if we use exactly the same condition in each experiment. For example, if we flip a coin, we know in advance that it will either come up head or tails, but we cannot predict before any given experiment which of these outcomes will occur. So this is the difference between this deterministic and this random systems. And the randomness comes in any system, or we can model with the help of this probability theory. Then sample space, we have already discussed the sample space. Omega is the set of all possible outcomes of the random experiment. So here in this we have example like two dice are thrown simultaneously, and you know that if two dice are thrown simultaneously, then we are having 36 players. So like for first dice we are having six options, and for the second die we have another six option, and then their combination is 6 into 6. And then we have this waiting for bus, so like this a continuous kind of example. So here when we have this countable or discrete points, so we say that the system is discrete. And when we have this interval kind of sample space, then we say that our system is continuous. We will, or our sample space is continuous. And on the basis of this, we have two different theories. One is go along discrete random variables, and one is go along this continuous random variable. So consider the random experiment for of waiting for bus that will arrive at random time in future. In this case, the outcome of the experiment can be any real number t greater than equal to 0. And t equals to 0 means that bus comes immediately. And t equals to 1.5 means that bus comes after 1.5 over etc. So like that it will go. So we can therefore define the sample space like this. Like bus can come immediately, bus can come after 5 minutes, after 1 hour, after 2 hours, or it cannot. It come after like infinitely time. So this kind of experiment we have sample space omega plus 0 to plus infinity. Then we have another example like a bee is buzzing around and we track its flight trajectory for 5 seconds. And what possible outcomes are there in such random experiment? If flight path of the bee might be look something like this. This one. This is actually 1D representation. So you can say that a bee can move in any or can switch in at any time. She can move. And here, like we have time in second 0, 1 to 5, but this time can be also in we can take decision in millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond also to change her path. Okay, so AB have not yet discovered the secret of the teleportation. Their flight path cannot have any jumps. It must be continuous, but otherwise they could not be. in principle follow any continuous path. So here all continuous path lies between 0 to path 5. So maybe this one is one of the exam path, or maybe she follow another path or anything, or like directly straight something. So there are many paths possible for this also. And this kind of like we when we are in, later in classes we talk about like random processes. There we have this kind of theory. Then this is already discussed. This random experiment, sample space. This is discussed. This one also. This also. This also. And this exams of probability is also discussed. A probability measure is an assignment of a number PA to every event A such that the following rules are satisfied. We can say axiom 1, 2, 3 or ABC like this. Like probability of any event lies between 0 and 1. Probability of sample space is 1. And if you are having two events A and B such that their intersection is empty, then the probability of their union is equal to the sum of their probability. And this can be generalized to many events like E1, E2, E3, and you have countable number of events, and then you have taken countable union of these events and the probability of their union. And here one assumption that this EI intersection is 5, that means they are pairwise disjoints. So the probability of their these disjoints union of disjoints mutually disjoint events is equal to sum of their probability. Then we have an example. Consider the random experiment throwing a die. And like we know that six faces will, any one of the face will turn up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how we assign this probability measure to this experiment so that that probability measure satisfies these three conditions. So to assign probabilities to the event, we will make modeling assumption that each outcome of the dice is equally likely to occur. So if we have this assumption, like here, this any phase will turn up and their chance of occurring are same. So this is one fixation we have done right now. What does this mean? Before the experiment is performed, we are equally certain that the die will come up as 1, as 2, etc. The event that die comes up I as an I like this, whatever phase like 2, 3, so like this. So this is an event. So our modeling assumption can therefore written as follows, like P1, P2, P3, they are all phases having the same probability of outcome. Now there are only six phases, and we know that they are mutual. And if we another assumption, we assume that they are mutually exclusive also, like occurring of one is exclude the occurring of other. Then the probability of this sample space P, if I apply a P measure to this sigma, then it is actually the sum of the probabilities of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we know that all of them are equal. So we can see this. So probability of this sample space P omega is equals to P1 union P2 union this. And then we know that 1, 2, 3 are these are mutually exclusive. So like this, and we can replace P1, P2, P6 by any one of them. So we replaced by P1 only, all others. And then we can get P1 is 1 by 6 and all others are equal to P1 also. So all others are, so it means the probability of occurring of any phase is 1 by 6. So this is the one way, and here we have assumed the assumption of equally likely and mutually exclusive. Then we arrive at this result. So if I assume like my probabilities are not equally likely, then I have to select their probability like that. Probability of getting P1 is 0.1, probability of getting P2 is zeros. I think assume in any way. But once I assume the condition, these three conditions should be satisfied. Then we have this waiting time for bus. Example, continuous example, we are waiting for a bus at the bus stop. So this is an example of discrete random variable or discrete distributions. And now we have this. We are waiting for a bus at the bus stop. Based on the previous experience, we make the following modeling assumption. The bus always comes with a at or within at most 1 hour, but it is equally likely to come in any time within this hour. So the natural sample space for this problem is like 0, 1 because every 1 hour we are assuming. And the most interesting question is how to define the probability measure to this end. Consider the example like we have two sets A and B are there, and we are assuming their length are same. Like you can see x to x plus 1 is a one interval. Like from small x you assign left bracket and x plus I is right bracket. So one interval is this one, another interval is y to y plus epsilon. Because our modeling assumption is that the bus is equally likely to come at any time in this, the probability that the bus arrives at the time in the set A should be equal to the probability that bus arrives at the time at any time in B, because the length of these two intervals are same. So in such case, we define the probability measure like the probability of coming bus in any interval is actually equal to the length of the probability. Why we are taken? Because this is like we have taken this interval lies between 0 to 1, so you can take length of A. If it is, we have interval more than like 0 to 2, then we have to take like length of A divided by 2, something we have to do. So we can check this choice satisfies the property definition 1.3.1 clearly, because length of A and A is any interval between 0 to 1. So obviously the length of any interval between 0 to 1 is greater than 0 and less than equal to 1. So first condition is clearly satisfied. Now the probability of sample space means here 0 to 1. So and the length of 0 to 1 is actually 1. So the second condition is also satisfied. And the length of the union of two disjoint sum is the sum of their length. Like here you can see the probability of A and probability of B, and you can see that they are non-overlapping intervals. So probability of this part is like the length of probability of A is epsilon here and probability of B is epsilon here, and their union is also epsilon plus epsilon. So in this example, the probability that the bus comes in an interval A is A plus epsilon, that is probability of A is epsilon. So we can compute the probability that bus comes within first 15 minutes is this one. So actually here we are talking about time in hour. So here this 15 minutes is converted into hours. 15 means it means 1/4 of the hour, and 1/4 means 0.25 hour. So the probability of bus coming within the first 15 minutes is 0.25. Now, what is the problem here? Like you earlier, you have seen that in the case of this, you are able to assign the probability of each of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s because they are discrete and countable. So you are able to give these kind of probabilities to each and every individual point. But here in this sample space 0 to 1, and we know that it's 0 to 1 is containing uncountable points. It's contained because it's an interval, and we know that any interval on the real line contain uncountably infinite points. So it means this is not a problem like a discrete kind of problem. So if I assign like what is the probability of like earlier, probability of 1 and probability of 2 are we are trying to find in this example. So here also if someone want to know what is the probability of x only. So and we know that there are uncountably infinite points like this x in this domain. So if I assign the probability of X anything, any number, like here I assigning 0. If I assign it's anything like 0.1 or 0.2 or 0 point something or 0.1. So if I assigned any non-zero number to this, the bus comes at exactly time x, and I'm assigning here 0. But if I assign any non-zero number to this, then here this one, then the probability of this sample space like if I want to calculate the probability of this probability u, this b part, the probability of omega is 1. So if I'm going to check that one, if I give probability of x anything other than 0, like 0.001, if I am giving, then I have to add 0.001 like infinitely many times. So if I add 0.001 infinitely many times, I will get the sum as an infinite, not this one. So in continuous type of distributions, we always assume that the probability at any given individual point is always 0. Not for this example, in any example you encounter in future, you have to give the probability of a single point is always 0 for the case of continuous distributions. And for the case of discrete distribution, we can easily assign. So for the case of continuous distribution, we always define this probability measure in terms of the length of the interval or some any measure, but based on the interval, not as on the at any individual point. Okay. So in yesterday class, we were already proved all these results, like up to 4. So now the sixth result is this one. If A is a subset of B, then we have to prove probability of A is less than equals to probability of B when A and B are any events from the same sample, some sample space S. So you will see the proof of this one. Here A is a subset of B, and from the knowledge of set theory, you know that if one subset is a subset of another, so if I take A intersection with B, because all the elements are also elements of B, so we will get A. And now, what is their union? A union B is actually B, because B is a bigger set here. Now we can write like this: B equals to B equals to B minus A union A minus B. So obviously B minus A contains only those elements of B which does not belongs to A, and whatever the elements of B that does not belongs to, that are common with A, are belongs to this set. So it means the union of these two sets will give us B. And clearly these two are disjoint also. B minus A and A intersection B. B minus A does not contain any element of A, and A minus B contain elements of A intersection with B. So it means these two events are mutually exclusive and their union is B. So we apply probability measure to both of the side of this equation. We will get this, and then we'll apply exam 3. The probability of union of two mutually exclusive events is equal to sum of their probability. And then this, and but here this A intersection B, because we have in particular case like this, A is a subset of B. So A intersection B is A. So we replace this A intersection B by A, and then this probability of B equals to probability of A plus probability of B minus A. And here you can easily see that this is a probability of some event, and we know that the probability of any event is always greater than equal to 0 and less than 1. It means this one is some positive integer or positive real number. So so we are adding some positive real number to A, then only we are getting probability of B. It means probability of B is greater than the probability of A.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, someone is trying to join.
still, but no one is trying.
सर सृष्टि ज्वाइन करने की ट्राई कर रही है 1:10 से
1:10 से तो सृष्टि से बोलो कि वो अपना ईमेल उसमें भेजे ना।
बोल रही हूँ
बोलो उसको। तो ये सृष्टि से मैंने उसने रजिस्टर किया था उसमें।
पूछ रही हूँ सर
पूछो। Okay, then we were here. Okay, so this we have discussed. Now this one, this conditional probability independent. This if these two proofs are not acceptable. Okay, this is one example of that result. Like two dice are thrown simultaneously. Find the probability that the sum being 6 or the same number on both the dice. So you have two cases here. One is this one, and another one is this one. So we know that from knowledge of our 10th or 12th standard, when we are throwing two dice, we are having like 66 possible cases pairs of these numbers. So the sample space X contain 36 points, like 36 pairs X comma Y, where X moving from 0 to 1 and Y is also moving from 0 to 1. So here the first event we are assuming so first is the sum being 6. So you know that in this throwing of two dice, like these are the possibilities. 5 1 will give 6 sum, this one gives 6 sum, this one and this one and this one. So there is no other possibility to have 6. Another one is the same number on both the dice. So B is the event like this. We assume 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 6 6. And then you know what is the probability of A. So here we are actually assuming like this. This both the dice are fair and they are having equally likely probability, and their events are mutually exclusive also. So the probability of PA is like 5 by 6 because 36, because 36 is the total number of cases, and here 6 by 36. Now the probability of A intersection B. So A intersection B is having only one event in common, and this one is 1 by 36, and then someone asks you to find the probability of A union B. So this formula we have proved, and we substitute the value of this PA, PB, and PA intersection B, and then this final calculation will give you the probability of A union B. And
सर,
this,
यस
हाँ,
सर, उसने भरा था फॉर्म और उसकी ईमेल आईडी सर मैंने इस पे मैसेज पे सेंड।
तो मैंने ऐड तो कर दिया उसको, ठीक है।
ठीक।
Okay. Next is this one, compound events. The joint occurrence of two or more events is called compound events. Thus, the compound events implies the simultaneous occurrence of two or more events. For example, in tossing of a two pair coins simultaneously, the events of getting at least one head is a compound event as it is consists of joint occurrence of two simple events. So like this, HT or TT, because we want one head. An event be like two heads appears like this one. Now we have independent. We have already discussed this event independent. Two or more events occur in such a way that the occurrence of one does not affect the occurrence of another. Occurrence means the probability. The occurrence of one does not affect the probability of other or another. Then they are said to be independent events. And the dependent events, if they influence, like if the occurrence of one event influence the occurrence of other, then the second event is said to be dependent on the first. Then we have this conditional probability. So in this conditional probability, let A be any event with the probability P greater than 0. So here this is actually this less greater than symbol is not required here. Equal to is not there, only greater than there. Because we require this probability of A greater than 0, strictly greater than 0. The probability that an event B occurs subject to the condition that A has already occurred is known as conditional probability of the occurrence of the event B on the assumption of that the event A has already occurred, and it is denoted by this. So here we denote by this, like we have events A and B, and we want to know what is the probability of occurrence of B when we have already have information that A has already occurred, and it is defined by this probability of A divided by probability of A intersection B divided by probability of A. And this is actually wrong here, so don't write this, because this is actually again the classical definition they have used here. So this actually wrong. So we define probability of B given A is actually probability of A intersection B divided by probability of A. What happened? Wait a minute, हम लोग जल्दी बोलो. Sir, actually मैं So the probability of similarly, like the conditional probability of A when B has already occurred is defined by this. So this is definition of the conditional probability, that probability of A given B is probability of A intersection B divided by B. So what we do here, like this may be visualized as a restriction of the sample space. Earlier, when we have no information whether B is occur or not occur, then we are calculating the probability of A from the sample space S itself. But once we have information that B has already occurred, then we restrict our sample space to B instead of S. So for this interpretation, we have this example. So here let one contain one white and two black balls. Okay, and the bag two contain one black and two white balls. And a fair coin is tossed. Here, on one contain one white ball and two black balls. On two contain one black ball and two white balls. A fair coin is tossed, and if head turns up, a ball is drawn at random from on one. Otherwise, from on two. So it means that you have to one bag, two bag, and one coin is also with you. You are if tossed the coin, if head turns up, you select a ball from bag one, and if tail turns up, you will select the ball from bag two. Let E be the event that the ball is drawn is black. So this is actually given information that this ball is already drawn and the ball is having color black. So this actually already happened and this information you know that. Now the sample space we think about for this kind of situation. So here in this situation, because first we have to think about the head and tail. So first either head will turn up or tail will turn up. So if head is turned up, so we have to go to this bag one as per the statement. So if we go to bag one, in bag one there are two options for taking two black balls and one white ball. So here B stand for black. So I have taken first ball from one black ball from bag one, or I have chosen the second ball from bag one, and or I have chosen one white ball from bag one. So here and similarly the case with the tail also, like if tail turns up, then we have to go to the bag two, and in bag two we are having one black and two white balls, and accordingly we like if we have taken a tail turns up and we have chosen bag two, that is the first index here representing bag two, and the second index representing the black ball, and if tail turns up and I have selected a first white ball from the bag two, or I have selected the second white ball from the bag two. So here H and T denotes the H is denoting head, T is denoting tail, and BIG denotes the jth ball drawn from the ith bag. So this is the two possible outcomes. Like any one of them will happen if I am going to uh, execute a trial of this random experiment. Then one information is already given that probability this E is already happened. So what we will see what is this E, how this E happened. So E happens means one black ball turns up. So black ball turns up, it means either this situation may happen or any one of them. So if any one of them will happen, then we say the black ball is drawn. So it means P contain this combination of this or union of this. You can say union this HB11 union HB12 and union TB21. And then we calculate the probability of the event E. Since here total number of cases in this sample space is 6 and favoring to E is 3, so we will have 3 by 6 like 1 by 2. Now if it is known that the coin is tossed showed a head and the ball could not have been drawn from back 2, thus the probability of E conditional to the information H is 2 by 3. So if we have information that this head turn ups, okay, if you, this one information is there, this head turn up, and now I want to know the probability of happening this event E. So if head turns up, it means now I am having two options, and the ball is black. So my this sample is space is restricted to this E because black ball is drawn and this head turns up. So like two possibles possibility for turning up head is this one. So like 2 by 3. So the head turns up and black ball is drawn divided by the probability of head. So here I say like कैसे लिखेंगे यहाँ पे? Hmm. Like I am calculating probability of P. Probability of P and this E, and given that head is already occurred. So I here the information is like this. So if this is the information, like head is this na. If this information is given that the head coin is showed and the head turns up, so this is all you have given to you, and the probability, and now you have to find the probability of occurring a black ball. So now if head turns up, then your sample space is restricted to this. Earlier this one is our sample space and I have one information that head turns up. So this is my, now this one is my the sample space HB11 because head turns up, so any one of them will happen, either HB11, HB12 or HW11. So out of this, I want to know because head is already happened and this information is provided to us. And now I want to know what is the probability of getting black ball. So in this restricted sample space, I know that there are only two possibilities for favoring for black ball is this one and divided by the total possibilities 3 is like 2 by 3. So this is I calculated by restricted the sample space. And now I calculate by using the definition of conditional probability. So definition of definition of conditional probability, if you see, it says probability of A given B is equals to probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. So here A is H, sorry, A is E and B is H. So it means this probability is equals to probability of E intersection H divided by probability of H. Okay. So now anyone can tell me what is the probability of getting head in this sample space? What is the probability of getting head? So probability of getting head. What is the probability of getting head? This is your sample space. And I want to know what is the probability of getting head. So here you can see that there are six possibilities. And out of six possibility, three is favoring to occurring of head. So the probability is 1 by 2. So one of you is able to answer. That one is 1 by 2. Now this probability I calculate. That is this one. That at the bottom. Now probability head I have already calculated. Now I want to know. Now I have to calculate the probability of this head intersection black body. So probability of the event occurring head is this one, and the event occurring black ball is this one, and now I have to take intersection of these two because head and black ball. So this is head, this is black ball, and I have to take intersection of these two events. The intersection of these two events will give me only this one. This one. So intersection of head and black balls give me this one. So 2 is favoring, and out of this 6. So out of 6 is 2 is favoring, it means 2 by 6, and that one is 1 by 3. So now this numerator value is 1 by 3, and this denominator value is 1 by 2, and after simplification you are getting 2 by 3. So earlier I have calculated this probability by using restricted the sample space to the this event head, and now I calculated by using the definition of conditional probability. Now this actually sometimes people say it's a multiplication theorem, but when we have axioms approach of probability, actually this one is a definition. Okay, so no need to require the proof of this kind of theory. Because this this is the definition of conditional probability. So if you have only restricted to classical definition of probability, then you have this kind of proof. But this is not actually required because now we are defined the probability of B given A means probability of A intersection B divided by probability of A. And then we have, okay, I think we have discussed this example already. This we escape. Now we have this one. Let a fair coin tossed, and A is the head on the second throw, and B is the head on the first throw. Then, so two fair coin tossed, and A is the event head on the second throw, and B head on the first throw. Then, what is the probability of A? Head in the second throw, like this one. Second throw, H is coming now, this H, this H. Whatever may be the first, but the second is HH, so these are the possibilities. Now, first head in the first row, like this one. And we know the total possible cases in this case, H, like 4 cases, H, T, T, TH, and TT. So out of these 4 possible outcomes, P is favoring 2, B is out of these 4 sample points, 2 is favoring to this B event, and this 2 is also favoring to A also. And the probability of A is 1 by 2 because 2 by 4 and 2 by 4 will give us 1 by 2. Now I want to know what is the probability of A given B. And from the definition of conditional probability, it is defined like this: A intersection B divided by probability of A. So now first I have to see what is A intersection B. So the common into this one is actually HH only. So if this one is HH only, so it means 1 by 4, because 1 is favoring to A intersection B. So it is 1 by 4 divided by probability of B. It is already calculated here, and you are getting 1 by 2. So probability of A given B is actually equal to the probability of A. It means the event A is independent to the event B. Whether B occur or will not occur, it's happening. Probability will not change. So we can say, like, if the probability of A given B does not equal to the probability of A, then we say that A and B are independent events. So thus the probability of A intersection B is equals to probability of A into probability of B, and from where this one is coming, because this after calculation is equals to probability of A, and then we can write multiplying this denominator to the right side of this, and we are getting this. Then we have Bayes theorem. Okay, we will stop here, and we will discuss this theorem in next class. And there's still some problem with the Mank.